Hey everybody, today I have a 2013 Mercedes-Benz E350 station wagon for Matic, and it got towed in here and it was making awful noise and wouldn't move, so we got it around and pushed it in. We heard the bad noise. It sounded like thought the rear drive shaft was broken, so we started pulling the shields down, and there's the front U-joint out of the front drive shaft. And then see all the metal shavings. So if you look up in here, you can see that the front drive shaft is broken off. That's where the U-joint's supposed to go. And then the drive shaft comes on back and goes into the transfer case in the back of the transmission there. And according to the instructions to get this one out, you take the catalytic converter out, you unbolt that, you drop the transmission down, and the shaft is supposed to slide out. So I guess I'll continue on and show you how to do this one once I get the exhaust out. Now, one of the problems with the exhaust is the exhaust bolts are bolts and nuts at the top and then a bolt and a nut at the bottom. You can't get your hand up in there because of the differential. So I don't know how we're going to get in there to get that bolt off and back on, but we'll see what happens. All right, well, I got the exhaust off, so let me go over a few things on the exhaust. First, I thought up here that there was loose nuts and bolts to go through like a normal Mercedes-Benz. No, the nuts are part of the header / manifold, so those bolts actually came right out. Now, if you're gonna do one of these that the drive shaft actually broke like this, which I really didn't notice because everything's so crammed up here you couldn't see, you probably might want to go ahead and get a couple new oxygen sensors for it also. So now, and then also too back here, I had to take both pipes loose so the muffler would slide back far enough, because this pipe actually slides in. This one has a ball fitting, but this side actually, as you can see here, slides in at least an inch and a quarter. And you can see here where the drive shaft hit the exhaust and hit the converter. I don't think that's going to be an issue. We might have to get a couple oxygen sensors to make sure the check engine light doesn't come on. Now, in the instructions, it says to drop the transmission. Well, I guess I'm going to have to, because this drive shaft is definitely pinned up in here. We're going to go ahead and take this shield off too. So I'll keep working on it and come back once I get the transmission down. All right, everybody, I don't have it quite out all the way. I did take all the bolts out of the transmission and drop it down. That's how long that shaft is. And these 3 marks here on the drive shaft lined up with that solid spline there. So this shield up here got beat up pretty bad. So I went ahead and just pushed that shield back. I was able to get the drive shaft out. It's in there. I'm kind of hung up on this wire harness. I'm gonna take this wire harness down here, and then I should be able to get it. Actually, this one, since it's broken, came right out. It's gonna be hard to put the new one in. And now my next battle is to get these tore up bolts out. I'm going to take and try to hammer the Torx bit in and hit them with an impact. This one is really bad. That's the one I'm going to have the problem with, I think. I think the rest of them will be able to get out without a problem. All right, well, I completely lucked out. 3 of the bolts, I was able just to take the Torx sockets and bang them in, and I used an impact gun. They came right out. This one, it didn't work, so I ended up taking the air hammer and catching it right there until I got a groove in it, and I slowly hammered on it till it started to move, and then it came right on out. And I have new bolts coming for it. There is the other part of the drive shaft. So now I'm still waiting for the other parts to get here, and I'll probably wipe that down. I do believe that's probably oil or grease, excuse me, from the bad U-joint that came out, and then there's a shield over here that's loose. I'm not sure what that shield does, but I'm gonna possibly take that out so it doesn't rattle, because this bolt's loose. It must have got knocked loose. All right, everybody, so we're trucking later along here. Hopefully I can get the new drive shaft up and then back. So I'm still waiting for parts. When they get here, we'll go ahead and continue on. Alrighty, we got the new shaft up and in, and where you're gonna have to put the shaft is you're gonna have to put the shaft up in this area here, because it's still a straight shaft that comes on back. Here are my 3 little lines that line up with the big groove on the shaft. So here is a pointer that really helps out a lot. This rubberized boot comes on the drive shaft. Take it off the drive shaft and put it on the output shaft of the transfer case first. Then you can see which way you need to move around the shaft coming out of the transfer case to line it up with the drive shaft. We actually had to pull down on the transmission and push the transmission over to get that lined up, and then finally it went, and then we started bolting it up. Of course, lucky me, this happens to be just where it ended up, but the car's in park. I'm gonna have to go up, put the car in neutral so I could start tightening these bolts up to get them in. So once I get these bolts in, all right, my phone rang, so I do believe where we were is once I get these bolts tightened and torqued down, then after that, I'll get the transmission back up. And like I said earlier, definitely take this rubber piece off the drive shaft and put it on the transfer case, and then pop it back onto the drive shaft afterwards, because it will make it life a lot easier. Get the transmission back up in place, get the exhaust put back in with the new oxygen sensors, and this one should be done. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Please subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Thanks.